Hit it, Phil.
Can it be the breeze that fills the trees with rare and magic perfume? Oh, no, it isn't the breeze. It's Jackson time. La, da, da, da.
All right. Well, hello again. This is Buck Benny speaking. I am joined by our full cast of characters today, which is wonderful for Easter. I hope everybody's having a great Easter. And we have our friend Terry back after so long. Terry, it's great to see you.
Hey, Daryl.
Terry, do you have anything new to tell us on the project front, or anything you want to share? Anything?
I do. I'm delighted to report that the script is finished. It's going out for casting on Monday, and I hope by I'm sure by the end of April, and perhaps long before the end of April, we will have our first new episode of the new season of Imaginaire Theater. This one's a two-parter, as we've discussed before, so it's lengthy, keeping with your theory, Daryl, that eventually we're going to have a hours-long episode. But this one's probably going to run 40 minutes, 45 minutes, maybe. I'm not sure, but it'll be in two parts.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm excited about it. It's we've been working on this, my team and I, for months and months. It was really hard to nail, but I'm now looking forward to hearing how it's going to sound. Just like everybody else, I have no idea yet.
I'm excited. Well, and what's great is I've done such a lousy job of remembering to post your episodes that I think I still have one or two left that I need to post. So right about the time I'm done with those, hopefully they'll be ready to hear a new episode. So
excellent. Well, thank you again for doing that. I appreciate it.
Not a problem. And we, of course, have our friend John Henderson here from This Day in Jack Benny. John, how are things going over in your neck of the woods?
Oh, pretty good, Buck. Sorry, I got a bit of a cold.
Oh, okay. And we have Kathy Fuller-Seeley here again. Kathy, any new news on your end?
Well, I think we have within 3 weeks, we'll be able to celebrate the 90th anniversary of Jack's start on radio. Can you believe May 5th, May 2nd, 1932, 90 years ago? So
that's astounding to think about.
Yeah, it is.
That blows my mind to so many degrees. Like, because it's obviously in 10 years, this is going to be 100-year-old material, and the Marx Brothers are hitting very, very close to the Coconuts being about 100 years old. So I'm still astounded that we're going to be able to look at this as 100-year-old material.
Right.
That still works. Like,
yeah.
That's a mind-boggling concept.
Well, in Jack's case, that particular episode kind of works, kind of doesn't work.
Yeah.
He really starts working what, in about 33-ish probably is where he's starting to really click, but I don't know.
Right.
A little later. 35, 34.
Oh, no, earlier.
Oh, earlier, you're saying even earlier.
Well, I'm fond of the early shows.
So am I. I love the early shows, but I'm just saying, as a general audience, I don't know if they would get into some of the early shows or not. But for them to give a try, they can pick up one of your books, and that has the scripts in there from the earliest shows. Between your two books, the 50-ish earliest episodes of the Jack Benny Show are in there. So nice. And Zach, it is so great to have you back again, my friend. And how are you feeling? You were not doing well last week.
I was not. I was under the weather, and then this week turned into its own form of adventures. But been a lot of busy work on my end. Got a paid editing gig, which is nice. I'm getting started on what is going to be needed for that. Which I think a lot of that success would be owed to the work that I've been doing the past couple of years with the Benny convention and other stuff. It honed my skills. But also, I've been working on the Benny book that Kathy has been helping me out with in so many respects. In fact, more than one respect. It's like a dozen respects. Like I don't know where I'd be starting without her. And also, Buck is going to be helping my podcast debut a video component, because you recorded a good sizable length episode on Winchester 73 that I didn't think to do video, but when you talked about it afterward, I'm like, this is a good idea. And it helps because for
It's
listeners,
from the house of good ideas.
yeah, oh, it's the only place to get innovation. You come to Buck Benny OTR. That's what I'm thoroughly convinced of. And additionally, though, you came in costume. I didn't even think to do that. I'm wearing a Batman T-shirt the entire time, and you're decked out, ready to go back into old Western territory. So, so it'll be very interesting, and you guys out there should be able to see it within the week. So. Stay tuned for it. But yeah, it's been crazy on my end. But I'm very happy to
excited.
be here to talk some Benny. So
yeah, excellent. Well, we have a special Easter presentation for you today, and I just learned about this yesterday. I did not know that this episode existed, and I threw it out there to our gang, and some of us got a chance to watch it. And certainly, it's based on the radio show that he redid a number of times, and it's delightful. The only issue I have with it, unfortunately, is the same issue I have with a lot of the Jack Benny shows. There's a character missing that I think it sorely could use. And for any of you that know me, who is the character I'm talking about? Anyone?
Phil Harris?
Of course, no. It's not Phil Harris.
Barry Livingston.
That's right. The Easter episode is probably my favorite of the radio episodes, or one of my favorites, I should say. I got so many favorites, but in this case, Mary was not available. It was another live show that they did, and so with doing a live show, she doesn't appear on the live shows. I did find out this week, because I had never paid close enough attention. She did one live show. Does anybody know what the one live show she did was?
Is it a Christmas one, maybe?
Good guess. We actually did this one. We did an intro for it a while back.
The 40th birthday anniversary?
Look at that.
Shower
Kathy
Stars?
pulls it out. Nice job, Kathy. Yeah, he mentions in there, he says, "Oh, Mary, this is your first live show ever," or something like that during the show. And she does a marvelous job, and she should have. Unfortunately, I wish he would have done more of his shows. Certainly, I wish he would have done this one. But we do have the Easter show. It's wonderful to see. I love that they do this one. A tricky one to do as they're trying to take a walk, and so how do you show that they're taking a walk and meeting all the characters as they go along? But anyway, Kathy, what were your thoughts on it?
A number, in part, it fascinates me. The emphasis he put on Easter shows over the years, that shows me sort of Jack at his most wanting to blend into Gentile American culture. Even more than Christmas, to celebrate Easter really means, that he's sort of downplaying his own Jewish heritage and playing up that I'm an all-American and gee, most of America is Christian thing. I love the aspect of seeing it on television, that ancient suit coat they came up with him for, and it was all wrinkled and old and had a little belt in the back. So I appreciated, instead of just hearing about an old jacket, for a change, actually getting to see it. And I would mention one fabulous, I have so appreciated, Daryl, you introducing me to more of Jack's television episodes, to remember all the ways that he and his co-creators could play up visual humor. And that one marvelous shot of the little boy just walking in front of him and Barbara Nichols, and just standing there and standing there and standing there, and then just shaking his head a little and walking on, with just a fabulous bit that didn't need any joking language,
Right,
to be hilarious. So,
yes. I just love the way they brought it across. I thought it worked nicely, and just the whole concept in the original and in this version of it is just walking along and greeting all the people that they meet, which is what the song says. They sing the song that's from
Easter Parade.
Thank you. And so it's charming in the radio version. Running into all the different characters, whether it's Frank Nelson or whether it's Mel Blanc, and then in this doing the same thing is just charming in its own way, and so I love that.
I didn't have a
And-
chance to watch this one, but I have a question for those who did.
Sure.
Does it live up to the cartoonishness that the radio version possesses? And I mean that in the sense of like some of the one I remember from the radio show is Don Wilson saying like, well, I'd love to, but I'm on the other side of the street. Like the idea of him being so wide that he's extending his body to the other side of the street. I'm wondering if it lived up to the cartoonish.
Well, they couldn't do that
captures.
piece, so they changed. The most changed piece is probably Don's piece, but I really liked it. It was Don wearing a dress and he's got a wig on, and he so
Very large bottle.
very large, and he actually made a. I wouldn't have questioned if I saw this woman on the street that she was a woman. So that's pretty impressive.
But Zach, there were other, to use your word, cartoonish gags in this episode. They weren't the same ones, but they were. There were others that, yes, I think lived up to that reputation.
I scanned the episode a little bit and saw Dennis with a duck, and I was like, okay, I know something's up.
Good example.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Terry,
And
tell
well,
us. Oh, go ahead.
The thing about Don Wilson in the episode, they're like, oh, I needed a shipbuilder to build this outfit or whatever, but you can actually see how big he is. So that does work better on the radio than
Right.
television.
Yeah. Yeah. I
But
think
that
that's
was great. Who designed his dress was a architect designed his dress.
Yeah.
You know, whatever. Yeah.
It's the one thing that I have issue with the television shows is every time that Don comes on screen, a little bit more of my imagination goes away as a result of it, because I'm like, he wasn't that big. But I think he handles like sound effects have helped him in certain respects with certain gags that they would do, especially with like with an instrument accompanying him, which lays into that whole the fat person stereotype. But the idea though that they were going to walk an entire set in live television fascinated me when I saw the listing this morning. Yeah. So in the grand scheme of the direction of television, how did people feel about it? Like, how did it hold up?
Well, one thing I was surprised about, I didn't realize they were doing live shows this late. I thought by 60 they'd gone to all not being live anymore to being film shows. But I wonder, does anyone know, Kathy? I don't know if anybody knows. Like, how much further did they go with the live shows? Was 60 the last season with live shows, or did they even do more? I'm not sure.
Now, I don't know offhand, but to think other parts of the schedule, soap operas, game shows. So you're right. Well, more parts of nighttime television had stopped being live. There was still, if you were watching a whole day of television, there was still a lot.
And I would quibble a little bit with calling this a live show. It was actually edited.
Okay.
There's a halfway through the show, there's a really obvious cut.
Right.
And I don't know why they did it, but maybe there was a technical problem, or maybe they changed the script. I'm not sure, but it wasn't actually broadcast live.
Well, okay, you're right. I mean, that's a very good point. And Laura Leibowitz in her television volume says it was actually recorded on March 27th for broadcast on April 17th. So it was recorded, but trying to look live.
Yeah, it felt like it was a hybrid sort of thing. So yeah.
A very good point.
Yeah. Terry, what are your thoughts on this? Because I'm sure you have some thoughts.
Well, the first thing I want to say is that keeping in with the rest of our conversation about the differences between radio and TV for Jack Benny, this was the first episode for me that really started taking advantage of the medium. His writers, same writers he'd had for years in radio, were struggling with this transition. How do you make an audio gag funny on TV? And how do you leave aside some of those things that were purely audio and take advantage of the new medium? And one thing I'll point out is that there was a wonderful joke about Jack taking a shower with his violin, and on radio he had to explain what was happening. On TV we could just see it, and in fact he added to it by having this goofy brush added to the bow, and they really tried to show you instead of just talking about what was funny.
Right.
and there were plenty of others, and there's no need to go into those details. But they did really work at this transition from radio to TV. I also want to mention Barbara Nichols. Kathy pointed out this was the actress who played his girlfriend, Mildred Meyerhauser. And I didn't know much about her. I had to do a little bit of digging, but she was from Long Island, if you couldn't tell from her accent, and had kind of a tragic end to her career. She'd been very busy. She was kind of a Marilyn wannabe, or a big blonde, kind of dumb but not really dumb. And she got into a couple of car accidents and died fairly young. I think she was in her 40s as a consequence of those two car crashes. But she was very, very, very funny. And even though in radio, where we miss hearing Mary walking with Jack in the television episode, she kind of did the Mary Livingston role. She wasn't dumb. She was clearly antagonistic to Jack in many ways, but it was a sweet character also. And so I really enjoyed seeing her in this. The two actresses who played members of Jack Benny's fan club were Madge Blake, who we might remember as playing Aunt Harriet on Batman. She was also Larry Mondello's mother on Leave It to Beaver. And the other actress was, let's see if I've got her name here, Jessalyn Fax, who was also a very busy character actress. And the one actress I could not identify was the woman who played the TV interviewer. Does anybody know who that was? I couldn't find her in any cast listing, but she was
her name was Faye Baker, says
Faye Baker. I'll have to look her up. I couldn't find her anywhere. Thank you.
Yeah.
And then the last thing I'll mention for the benefit of our younger listeners is that at one point somebody mentions it might have been Barbara Nichols talking about, oh yeah, when Jack said afterwards he was going to take her out to for an ice cream soda or something like that, and to do the cheap joke, she made reference to him being no Paul Getty, and J. Paul Getty was one of the wealthiest men in America at that time. He was one of the first billionaires, I think, in the United States.
You could say, as Ridley Scott would, that he had all the money in the world.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
Yeah.
But he ended up losing a grandson because of his wealth.
Yep.
Again, quite tragically.
Yeah.
Can I ask the question? Was that background, was it a turntable? So was that a moving back? Because I thought maybe Jack and Barbara were standing still and the background was moving.
That's what it looked like
I
to me,
think it was a combination of them walking really slowly, which looked kind of goofy. And I think, the background must have moved. I was having trouble following it, but it was done quite elaborately because the camera moved along with it. So it was a pretty good device. Oh, and I guess there's one other thing we should mention, which is that, Jack Benny is often described as the master of comic timing. That extended to his whole cast. I don't know how much of that was him choosing people who were good at it and him teaching people how to do comic timing. But you mentioned that kid standing there. That went on and on and on, and it was funnier and funnier and funnier. And as we'll talk about in other episodes, the long takes that he does to milk every last ounce of laughter, to me, remains to this day, almost 90 years later, hilariously funny and brilliant.
Yeah, we mentioned that a few weeks ago, the same thing. It's just, and you can tell if you listen to the rehearsal episodes of the Jack Benny radio show, you can hear him telling people, okay, wait just a little longer on that one. That you need to pick it up on this one. You're going too slow. He would be helping people with their speed and everything. So the timing, like you said, it feels like every actor has such great timing on these shows, and certainly on the radio shows too. But a lot of it is Jack's timing and Jack sharing with them to get the the timing right.
Yeah.
For everybody.
On the radio, he could do hand signals and tell people exactly when to
Yes.
go, but you can't do that on television.
No, on television, the only way to do it, I guess, would be with rehearsals. Getting, and it wouldn't surprise me if they did a lot of rehearsals on Jack's shows because the timing is so good. I don't see,
The timing, by the way, was much better in this one. We haven't talked about it yet, but the other episode from 1956 that we'll discuss at another time. The contrast was huge. It was so much better in this one. And I don't know how much of that, again, was him directly controlling the pacing and how much of it was maybe his director. But it was much, much, much sharper in this episode.
Well, like you're saying, if this one wasn't live, so it's filmed, they could reduce, they could go, okay, let's try that again. And let's do it this way. And and he could point things out. The other one's live. So that one, they'd only do the rehearsals, and after the rehearsals, they're kind of stuck with whatever they produce live, right? So that'd be trickier. The other episode we're talking about is the passport episode, and we're going to be doing that one today. I thought I'd go ahead and mention it because as our Easter gift to all of you, we're going to be taking a trip with Jack and Mary as they go across all over the place. And so the first thing we do is we have to get his passport. So we're going to present his passport episode. And then from there on, we will present the episodes. Luckily, Jack filmed a bunch of episodes that took place all over the world. And so we'll be presenting those. He goes to England, and he goes to Venice and various places that we'll be presenting. So I thought those would be fun to present, a kind of a package that we're going to present going forward as we're hitting into the summer and things. As I was on my spring break this week, I was thinking, oh, it'd be fun to revisit. I was thinking about, because I can't really travel much right now, so it's like, oh, it'd be fun to travel. And so I thought, let's travel with Jack. Anyway, John, were you going to point out anything else in this episode?
Well, you mentioned those two episodes. They both share one bit, which is Jack getting his picture taken. And, they pull a line across, and it's supposed to be like a finish line for a horse. And you had mentioned before we started that, it wasn't the strongest joke in the world, but it just goes to show how much these actors bring to it.
I agree.
Both Mel Blanc and Frank Nelson made that whole camera guy hilarious, but in their own totally unique way. So it's not just they're relying on the material.
That's what I was noticing too, John. It was cool to see a scene done very similarly, but with my two favorite actors on the Benny Show, or two of my favorite actors on the Benny Show, Frank Nelson and Mel Blanc. I'd have to say I enjoyed Mel's version better, but that's because his character was a full-blown character. They spent more time with him. There was more jokes with him doing the bit, whereas Frank, because of the way the show lays out, that they can only spend so much time with any of the characters. Everybody just kind of pops in for a quick few lines, that he doesn't have as much time to develop. And if they did, I'm sure that Frank would have done as good of a job. And it's still funny the way Frank presents it and everything. I love that. Yeah.
And of course, like everyone's mentioned, I love the Easter parade episodes of the radio show, which they did a bunch of times, and then they also reran a bunch of times. And the energy on that one is so good. And so it was fun to be able to actually see it. Some of the jokes that you wouldn't think they would be able to do, like the weighing machine joke, they pulled off even on television, which was a surprise. So yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, it does astound me. Jokes that I think, oh, they're going to replace this joke because it's not going to work on television. They find some way to make it work or keep in the similar vein. So I'm always impressed with how they dig deep to go, okay, how can we make this joke play visually? And they usually find a way.
In a weird way, whenever he does that, he's innovating what television will be capable of down the line. And it's not like grand innovation like special effects on Star Trek or like the innovative storytelling of the Twilight Zone. It's more just that, like, it's small little tiny things. Like, I think there's an emphasis on sound effects every time I watch a Jack Benny television show, because it's almost like Jack, because Jack would recycle gags with his writers. It's almost like he doesn't want to lose, and he doesn't want to have to come up with a replacement. If he knows that the material works, he's going to like move heaven and earth to get it done.
Yeah.
And I'm surprised that like ones that actually, I'm surprised that they succeed more often than they fail.
Mhm.
Like the things that fail for me on the television shows tend to be broader concepts and ideas, like The Vault, which we've talked about. But tiny things, small, subtle things, which is one of Jack's specialties, excel on television as much as they did on radio, because I think that the audience is primed to suspend their disbelief when it comes to early television, and they're ready just for anything to happen on early television. If he had done this show, let's say 20 years later, let's say Jack didn't die in 1974 and moved it into the 80s, he wouldn't be able to get away with it the same way. But because the perfect storm collides with timing and luck, those gags still permeate our minds as successes. And the idea of the weighing machine, or in one of the shows we're going to talk about, the idea of repeating gags and repeating lines. And Terry talked about how the timing is a little bit off by comparison to the other ones. Like, it's still amazing to see how much the audience is willing to just go with it, as opposed to like letting a joke fall flat. Because I've heard and I've watched television shows from that era where the audience, if they don't like it, they don't like it. It seems like with Jack, they're willing to suspend their disbelief for the most part.
And Zach, did you not notice that that Jack Benny did on this television episode what he did all the time on the radio, which was these little ad-libbed sounding, if they weren't actually ad-libbed, asides. He did it with respect to Don Wilson. He did it in the beginning with Eddie Anderson. We haven't talked about Rochester, who had a key scene in the beginning of this episode. But Jack is still trying to do the live sounding asides. And Johnny Carson picked this up. He always said that Jack Benny was his idol, his role model. And when a joke fell flat for Johnny, he would say something, and that would milk it even more. And Jack loved to do that in the radio. And correct me if I'm wrong, Zach, but it sounded like he did this once or twice on this television episode.
I saw that, and it's, you know, I'm always kind of astounded what Jack will latch onto versus won't latch onto. It's like I always feel like one gag will be more to his liking than the other, and then I realize I don't really know Jack the way I think I do. You know, like, but those asides are essential, because I've always kind of maintained that Jack's comedy comes from subtlety that's amplified. Like, so it's a subtle gag that is amplified for the purposes of ridiculousness, or like it's almost like it's like a Wes Anderson gag to an extent, except Wes Anderson pulls back, whereas Jack just pushes through like a freight train. But it's all based on subtle things, subtle instances. We'll talk about it with the other episode, but like there's a gag that's repeated 3 times that when I was watching it, I couldn't believe that they were pulling this gag off 3 times and that it somehow still worked, because it's a gag we know, but it's one that I didn't realize they were going to milk all the way through that episode.
Well, speaking of that, I think we'll go ahead and head over to our other episode to chat about it. And we'll let people enjoy this Easter performance of the Jack Benny Show. And I hope everybody has a wonderful Easter. And I'm glad we could get this recorded on the day before Easter for us in 2022. So enjoy your Easter and enjoy the show. And come back and tune in every year on Easter to check out this episode, because it's a worthwhile bit of your time to spend. So enjoy. Thanks, everybody, and have a happy Easter, everyone. Bye.
City in Hollywood. The Jack Benny Program with Dennis Day and Barbara Nichols.
Our music on this beautiful Easter morning. And stay tuned in, because in just a short while we'll be broadcasting from Wilshire Boulevard, where the citizens of Beverly Hills will meet for their annual stroll in the Easter Parade.
Mr. Bennett's gonna be late. He's sure taking a lot of time in that shower. Everybody else sings in the shower. He has to play his violin. What's the Easter bunny with all the frills upon it? I'll be the grandest fellow on the Easter parade.
Rochester. Rochester, you better dry this off, will you?
Yes, sir. I'll run it through the wringer.
You will not. You'll hang it on the line like you always do. Hey, I'll bet Heifetz can't play intermezzo and scrub his back at the same time. Here, put it away. Okay. Rochester, why'd you put out my blue suit?
So you can wear it in the Easter parade.
Oh, for heaven's sake, you always want me to be so conservative. Look at it. I want to wear something springy. You know, I know what. Here. Maybe this white suit. Here, I think I would.
Boss.
What?
Why don't you wear this brown one?
Nah, I don't like the brown one. I'm going to wear this white. You know, I haven't worn this in years and years and years. I like to wear it again.
I know, but I think either the blue one or the brown one.
Rochester, look, wait a minute. I made up my mind I'm going to wear the white one, and that settles it. Now, here. Put this away and get me a nice blue tie.
Yes, sir.
A real nice. I want a bow tie.
Oh, boss.
Yeah.
While you were taking your shower, Miss Meyerhauser called and left a message.
Miss Meyerhauser? Oh, Miss Mildred. Yes. My girl. What did she say?
Tell Poopsie I'll meet him at 10:30. You, Poopsie?
Well, it's just a word of endearment. You know, she's nuts about me. Anyway, I think I look pretty good since I've been dieting. Huh? Don't you think I look better?
You look about the same to me.
Oh, what are you talking about? You're silly. I must have lost 10 pounds. Here, I'll show you.
Here's a penny.
I can't understand why the Beverly Hills police made me take this weighing machine off of the front lawn. Oh, here's my fortune. It says, you would be a financial success if you weren't such a spendthrift.
Oh, scale, come now.
Let's see, here's my weight. It says, what's this? It says I weigh 102 pounds? This scale is way off.
I could have told you that when you read the fortune.
Never mind. Listen, I better get ready.
Oh, boss. Look, are you sure you want to wear this white suit?
Look, Rochester, I said I'm going to wear the white suit. Now, let's not discuss it anymore, and that settles it. Go ahead.
Well, all right, then I'll see you later.
Okay. Rochester, you going to walk in the Easter parade?
Oh, yes, sir. But first I have to make a call to a girl I have a blind date with. I got to tell her about a change in plans.
What change in plans?
I told her to be on the corner of 6th and Main and look for a man wearing a white suit.
Well, if he likes this suit so much, why did he give it to me in the first place? Gee, I better hurry. I don't want to keep Mildred waiting. Mildred, I wish when we're out walking on the street, you wouldn't call me Poopsie.
Oh, don't be so uppity. If it's good enough for a drive-in theater, it's good enough for Wilshire Boulevard.
Yeah. Let's walk, huh?
You know, I'm sorry I'm late. I could have gotten here earlier, but I couldn't leave till I finished the egg roll.
Oh, Mildred, don't you think that you're a little too old for an egg roll?
Well, what's age got to do with it? I had breakfast in a Chinese restaurant.
Oh. Well, listen, the parade is starting about, down at the next corner again. Let's walk over there, shall we?
Oh, wait a minute.
What?
Jackie, why'd you have to wear that white suit?
Why? What's wrong with it?
Well, I haven't seen a suit like that since Admiral Byrd got back from the South Pole.
Well, I think it looks nice. Now, come on, let's walk, huh? Here. Huh?
Hey, look at the theater. They're showing a revival of Easter Parade with Judy, Garland, and Fred Astaire.
Oh, yeah. Say, I remember that, too. You know, I remember seeing that, and that was the picture where Fred Astaire was walking down Fifth Avenue, you know, on Easter, and he was singing some kind of an Easter song, and everybody on the street was answering him. I'm trying to think, what was that song again? I can't think.
Never saw such a lovely day. Happy Easter.
Happy Easter. It's such fun just to nod and say Happy Easter. Happy Easter.
My, oh me, there's so much to see at Stroll the Avenue.
And you greet all the friends you meet. Do you? Dennis.
Oh, it's you, Mr. Benny. I thought it was Admiral Byrd.
Well, I'm not. Dennis, you know my girlfriend, don't you?
Oh, sure. Hello, Mildred.
Hi, Dennis.
Dennis, what are you doing? Where'd you get that duck? What are you doing?
Oh, my aunt sent him to me for Easter. Isn't he cute? I call him Harvey.
Oh, look at it. You got him today, and you named him already?
I gotta work fast. I'm eating him tonight.
You're gonna eat your Easter duck?
Oh, sure. Last year, my aunt sent me a rabbit, and I ate him, too.
Dennis, do you eat all the pets you get on Easter?
Yeah.
Holy smoke. Oh, this is awful.
Why?
2 years ago, I gave him a French poodle.
Dennis, do you mean that you?
For weeks, I kept chasing cats up trees.
Dennis, stop with that kind of silly talk. What a thing, anyway, with a duck. If you're going to walk, go walk.
Yeah, okay. Come on, Footsie. Let's show off our rights.
What a silly kid. Look at him walking down the street there with that crazy duck.
Ah, Poopsie, don't aggravate yourself. It's Easter.
Yeah, and what a beautiful time of year. That, I don't know, it makes you feel so romantic and so young, doesn't it?
Hey, you dance better than Nijinsky.
When did you ever see Nijinsky?
This morning, he owns the Chinese restaurant where I had breakfast.
Oh, yes, I know the place now. Wang Fu Nijinsky. Eat now and get hungry later. Well, come on, huh? Let's walk.
Jack, look!
What?
Oh, look at the beautiful rings in the window.
Mildred, if you want to walk, let's walk.
Never saw such a lovely day. Happy Easter.
Happy Easter.
It's such fun just to smile and say Happy Easter.
Happy Easter.
My, oh me, there's so much to see as you stroll the avenue. And you greet all the friends you meet.
Happy Easter to you. Oh, look. What are they looking at? Oh, look at a lot of people over there. And there's a television camera. Let's go over and see what it is.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen. Of all the affairs I attend as fashion editor of the Tribune, I don't find any as exciting as talking to these lovely ladies of the Easter Parade. Miss, if I may say so, that's a very lovely hat you're wearing.
Oh, well, thank you. Glad you like it. It was designed by Robert of Marseille.
It's very, very beautiful.
Thank you.
This is a perfectly stunning outfit. May I have your name?
Donna Wilson.
Donna Wilson? Hey, that's Don Wilson. What has he made up like that for? He must, I don't know what he's up to.
May I compliment you on your outfit? Who designed it?
William Zeckendorf.
William Zeckendorf. Doesn't he build buildings?
Yes, but no one else would take on the job.
Well, it's a perfectly beautiful dress, but did you lose your gloves?
Oh, no, I left my gloves home purposely. I wanted everyone to see how lovely my hands are.
Oh, yes. Yes, they are lovely.
And here's my secret.
Oh, isn't this a new white plastic bottle of new pink lotion Lux liquid?
Yes, it is.
It certainly is modern looking.
And it's very practical, too. You see, it won't rust, won't chip, and can't slip out of your grip.
I knew it.
You see, new pink lotion Lux liquid has a selective formula that works hard against hard surfaces like dishes, and yet is so gentle, your hands don't even know it's there.
Oh, I know. I use it myself. I find it's both mild to my hands and hard working in the dishpan.
And you know, new pink lotion Lux liquid cuts grease quicker and cleans dishes cleaner.
Well, thank you very much for stopping, Mrs. Wilson.
Well, thank you, and you're very nice to ask me all those leading questions.
Guy, that Don Wilson. Imagine him getting dressed like that just so he could sneak in a commercial.
And I bet on the way home on the bus he gets a seat.
Only if two people stand up. 3. His girdle's just broke.
And now let's stroll on down the avenue and talk to some of the other people. Oh, here's a celebrity. One of television's funniest comedians, Mr. Jack Benny.
Well, thank you. I wouldn't consider myself one of the funniest, although I do ad-lib quite a bit. In fact, for instance, you know, I was nearly late for the parade because I had to wait till I finished the egg roll.
Aren't you a little old for an egg roll?
Well, what's age got to do with it? I had breakfast in a Chinese restaurant. Wasn't that good?
Stole that from me.
Quiet! Well, thank you. Oh, by the way, this is my girl, Mildred Meyerhauser.
Well, you really are very, very lovely, and it must be quite a thrill to keep company with such a big star.
Some thrill. His idea of a big time is to take me walking every night.
How long have you been going together?
About 300 miles.
Mildred. Well, anyway, thank you. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you, Mr. Bennet.
You're welcome. Oh, gosh, that's Don Wilson.
Never stops such a lovely day. Happy Easter.
Happy Easter.
You look cute in that all white suit. Happy Easter.
Happy Easter. My old me, there's so much to see as you stroll the avenue. And you greet all the friends you meet.
Happy Easter to you. Gosh, I don't know. It's so beautiful today, and the sun is shining, and the skies are so bright. And, hey, look who's coming down the street. Oh, it's my violin teacher, Professor LeBlanc.
Bonjour, mon cher Benny.
Well, I certainly didn't expect to see you here, Professor.
Hello, Professor.
Bonjour, mademoiselle.
Gee, you look so nice today. Is that a new Easter suit?
Mademoiselle, I am a poor violin teacher. I cannot afford to buy new suits.
Well, what do you do with all the money I pay you for my violin lessons?
I buy sleeping pills.
Well, are they any good?
No, after a few days, I wake up.
Well, it's too bad. bet. Well, it was nice seeing you. And don't forget, Professor, tomorrow you have to give me another violin lesson.
I will not forget. I will put a string around my finger.
Good, good.
Better I should put a rope around my neck.
What?
Nothing. Now, if you do not mind, I will go for a walk on the freeway.
A walk on the freeway? Well, goodbye.
Could be.
I wonder why he hates to give me violin lessons. Huh?
I don't know either. I think you played beautifully.
You do?
Yeah.
Well, what's so funny about it? For heaven's sake. So anything.
Clara, let's rest for a little while. My feet are killing me.
Well, I'm tired, too. We must have walked for a block and a half.
Let's rest a little. Oh, Clara. Clara, there he is. Our idol, Jack Benny.
Where?
Over there? No, that's William Holden. I meant the handsome one over there.
Oh, my goodness, that's him, all right. Oh, isn't he wonderful? That white suit makes his eyes look like 2 huckleberries in a bowl of yogurt.
Stop drooling and let me see. Oh, my goodness.
You must be excited. Your face is getting red.
That has nothing whatever to do with him. My elastic stockings are too tight. Did you notice there's someone with him?
Yes, I did.
Now he's looking right this way. I wonder why he doesn't wave back at us.
Well, I guess he doesn't want to make his girl jealous.
That's not going to stop me. I'm going to cross the street and go right over there.
Emma! In this traffic, you can get killed.
I'll chance it.
Now, we're not going to do anything foolish. After all, we saw Jack Benny. Now, let's walk another block, and then we'll go up to the club so we can get in before the handball courts are taken.
And you serve first.
Never saw such a lovely day. Happy Easter.
Happy Easter. It's such fun just to nod and say Happy Easter.
Happy Easter.
My, oh me, there's so much to see as you stroll the avenue.
And you greet all the friends you meet. Happy Easter to you. Bum 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 bum. Da da da. Hey, wait, there's a photographer. Tell you what, let's have our picture taken, huh?
Oh, no. I'm not going to have my picture taken with you in that white suit.
Well, all right, then I'll have it taken myself. Oh, mister. Mister. I'd like to have my picture taken.
Well, good. Just stand right over there, Admiral.
I'm not Admiral Byrd.
Good, I better line you up.
Right.
Now, if you'll just put your nose on this tray.
Nose? Like that? Why? What are you doing this for?
And I used to shoot photo finishes at Santa Anita.
Stop it. Look, all I want is to have my picture taken, that's all.
All right. Would you mind rolling your trousers up above your knees?
My trousers? Like this?
Yes. Yes. You don't overdo it.
Why Why do you want to see my knees in the picture?
I don't want to see your knees, but the less we get of that suit, the better off we'll be.
Now stop that, will you? Will you please just take my picture?
All right, all right. Now I have to get you in focus. There we are. And now, open your mouth and smile. Wider. Wider.
Are you trying to make me look ridiculous?
Who am I?
Will you do that? Will you stop with that? Just take my picture. I run into it wherever I go. Just take my picture.
Now, are you
Drives
ready?
me nuts, yeah.
Here we go. There we are. Now, do you want to wait for it, or shall I mail it to you?
Mail it to me at my home. 366 North Camden Drive.
366 North. Oh, that's the house with the weighing machine out in front.
They made me take it in. Oh. Now get out of here, will you?
All right.
Say, for sausage, how he can ever even make a living doing that?
Jack, roll down your pants leg.
Now, I'll tell you what we'll do, Mildred. We'll walk about another mile, and then I'll buy you a nice cream soda.
Thank you, Paul Getty.
Thank you, Paul Getty. Thank you. Smart aleck kid. Happy Easter.
It's such fun just to nod and say Happy Easter.
And you greet all the friends you meet. Happy Easter to you.
Oh, hello, Mr. Benny.
Dennis, again? What'd you do with the duck?
Oh, Harvey, he laid an egg, so I took it to the Hollywood Maternity Hospital.
A duck to the maternity hospital?
I hope it's a boy. They're delicious.
Dennis, if you have to open your mouth instead of saying those silly things, it's Easter. Why don't you sing?
You mean right here on the street?
Go, everybody. Today is Easter. Everybody is singing on the street. You heard them, aren't they, darling? Huh?
And I always feel like singing when I'm with you, Poopsie.
Dennis, please. Honest, it's all right. Sing on the street.
Okay.
Everybody.
Okay, Poopsie. In your Easter bonnet with all the frills upon it, you'll be the grandest lady in the Easter parade. Oh, I'll be all in clover, and when they look you over, I'll be the proudest fellow in the Easter parade. On the avenue, Fifth Avenue, the photographer will snap us, and you'll find that you're in the rotographer. I can ride a sonnet among the Easter bonnet, and of the girl I'm thinking to the Easter. But
It was fun today walking in the parade, wasn't it? Huh?
Oh, it was. We sure walked a long way.
Yeah. I'm tired, too.
Well, you ought to be. You've walked in a lot more Easter parades than I have. Hey, Poopsie,
What?
get some ice, huh?
All right. Oh, waiter. Waiter, will you bring some ice, please? Gee, I wish I knew what we wanted to eat, too. Bring us a menu.
Oh, that feels so good. Ooh, my feet were really on fire.
Well, I hope they cool off because we got to walk all the way home now.
Okay, but I'm warning you. I change boyfriends every 500 miles.
I know. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll be back in 2 weeks. And next week, be sure to watch The George Gobel Show, brought to you by Stripe, the red and white toothpaste. Good night.
The Jack Benny program is a J&M production.
Hello, folks. This is Kate Smith inviting you to enjoy some of America's finest music on our show tomorrow evening on most of these stations.